Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and today I'm going to be playing Voidfall, but not in the way you usually play. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm all set up to play Voidfall. I'm not playing a full game today. Instead, I'm playing a solo Voidfall puzzle. This was a fan-made puzzle, and it's pretty cool. I like this whole concept. So I will put a link in the description to the Board Game Geek post where I found this. But here's sort of how it works. This is the map setup, and you play as House Marqualos. You can pick either the A origin or the B origin. I went with A, so I have autonomous drones, and I'm already set up here, and House Marqualos gets a second starting agenda. Don't forget, the four fallen houses are Cheveus, Valnus, Yarvek, and Zenor, so that's what makes up your tech tableau. There is no influence in this puzzle, so all of those techs just have the +4 influence version. There are no cycles in this puzzle. And there's no real random elements either. So the way that this works is it's all played over the course of just one cycle. There are no heroic focus cards, and there, like I said, is no influence. The only goal is you want to close this rift, which has 9 Voidborn fleet power on it. And because some of the random elements are removed, there are no event cards, no galactic events. There is no crisis board at all. The fallen house starts in this sector, and you just pick from one of these 4, and you can pick any of them. It's your choice. And any bounty or reclaim tokens that you get, you ignore whatever's on the back of them, and you just gain 1 resource of your choice each time you earn one of those. And so the goal is you can play on easy, medium, or hard. It's really the same puzzle either way. But on easy mode, you're trying to close the rift within 5 turns. On medium, you have 4 turns, and on hard, you have 3 turns. So I'm going to play on hard. There's also a separate, not separate, but slightly different setup for what they call an impossible puzzle. But it's kind of a funny name because it's possible. I'm not going to do that one today. I'm going to stick with hard. So I'm going to try and close that rift in 3 turns or 3 focuses. And before I get going, just to point out real quick, you may notice some of the pieces are different than yours as usual on this channel, particularly the fleet tokens, but also guilds, the bounty token, glory token, maybe some other stuff that'll pop up. But all that stuff is just from the Etsy store that I co-own, Brain Bucket Games. You can find a link in the description, and I actually released a video a few weeks ago showcasing all of those. So if you want to know more, just go watch that video. You can find that link in the description too. But let's get started. And just to make it fun, I am going to shuffle up these fallen house cards rather than pick one. You can pick whichever one you want, but I'm just going to shuffle up. All right, so I've got House Zenor, so I'll put the others aside. That's what's here. So yeah, the puzzle is possible no matter what the fallen house is, and with either Marqualos starting origin. And before I get going, if this is something you want to try yourself, go ahead. You can pause it, or go to the link in the description and see the puzzle for yourself and the explanation and give it a shot. I think it's really fun. I think it's cool. And I hope there's more of these to come, but here we go. So I've got my 9 cards here, and I'm going to start with Marqualos's 1 special card, which is Scheme, and it replaces innovation for this house. So that means I can play it in cycle 1. A couple other things I didn't mention. Trade tokens work as normal. So I do have trade tokens here. I've just covered up the rest of the galactic board with the supply tray there because there's nothing else going on that board. And so there's no improved technologies in this puzzle except for your starting technology is the only improved tech you can get. But anyway, I'm going to start by playing Scheme. I am going to do this top action, which is Obtain. So I'm going to spend 1 credit down to 2, and 1 science, also down to 2, and gain a tech. And I'm going to gain escape pods. So I'm not worried about the influence, but I gain a trade token, and I activate 1 fleet power. So let's activate the fleet power, gain a trade token, and I'm going to take 2 credits as the reward for that, or the bonus. I'm going to tuck this in here, and Escape Pods lets you hold an extra trade token, so I'll hold it right there. And of course, the other effect is when you lose, or when you have to recall a fleet power during combat, you can send 1 fleet power per combat back to your home sector rather than recall. And the second action I'm going to take is this bottom one, which is called Direct. And I'm going to, the cost is you have to recall 1 fleet power, so I'll just take 1 out of the home sector, back to the active area, and I gain a bounty token. So I'll just put that there, and you gain, again, 1 resource of any type that you want. So I'm going to take a credit, and also an agenda. And there's no influence, so the agenda scoring really doesn't matter. The agendas in this puzzle are purely for the bonus actions. So I'm going to take this dominance one. So I'm going to need to invade, so that's here in my hand. And those were 2 actions. So for my second card, I am playing Temptation, and I'm going to use this agenda that I just took, and I'm also going to flip a trade token to take all 3 actions. So the first action I'll take is the agenda action, which is invade, and I'm going to invade the Fallen House sector from here. And I'm going to do so flipping over a trade token to use autonomous drones, or not flipping over, I guess spending a trade token to use autonomous drones. And so that gets me 1 absorption, 1 approach absorption, and 1 salvo absorption. Salvo doesn't matter, but the 1 approach is important. So because it's a fallen house, there's 2 sector defenses I need to get past. So 1 was absorbed, and the other, I lose 1 fleet power, but because of escape pods, I can send it back to the home sector. So I'll do that. And that's it. I got past the sector defenses, so I take that sector over. I've lost this sector, so I need to do a couple things. I need to corrupt it, remove the guild, and my energy production goes to 0. I need to add a bounty token, and I need to add a Voidborn corrupted, what is that, Corvette fleet? With 2 fleet power. It's an abandoned sector, and I lose my glory token. Okay, so that was abandoned, but this one I won, and now I can gain attack, either cloning or destroyers, and I'm going to take destroyers. So that allows me to deploy 1 destroyer to my home sector. There we go. So there's a destroyer, and it also allows me to spend 1 science, which I'm going to do, so from 2 down to 1, to advance my lowest track. And there's a tie, so I'm going to advance this track, and the bonus there is remove a corruption. Sure. But this sector is corrupted and has 2 population. And in theory, I could get a 6th tech. Okay, so that was this action. That was that invade. Now I'm going to move down to this action here and take a corruption. Put it right there. To advance any track. And I'm going to advance this track. And the bonus there is I get a tech. So I'm going to take shields. So the immediate benefit of that is I can deploy 1 Corvette fleet power to my home sector. And then in combat, gain 1 salvo absorption as long as there's a Corvette present. The other half of this action is the galactic event peak, but that doesn't apply to this situation. So now I'm going to take this bottom action. So I'm going to actually take another corruption, and I get to activate 1 fleet power and then deploy 1 fleet power to my home sector. And it doesn't specify type, so I'm going to deploy a destroyer. And I can produce 2 different resource types. I'm going to produce credits, so I get 1 more credit. And, I should have done energy before I had 0, but I didn't. So I guess I'll do materials. It doesn't really matter. I get 1 material. It should be fine. I think I've got enough resources, but did that a little out of order. I should have started with that action. All right, so now I'm taking the last action, which is take an action off a preferred focus. And my 2 preferred focuses for Marqualos are scheme, and politics is the other one. So let's take politics out. And on the politics card, I'm going to take this action, which allows me to invade. So I need to spend 1 credit and 2 energy. And then I can improve a glory token. I don't even have a glory token. That's fine. And I can invade 1 sector. So I'm going to invade these ancient ruins here. And I'm going to use everything I've got. So destroyer. There we go. And we can consolidate that. Doesn't really matter. And I will spend this trade token in the process for autonomous drones to gain 1 approach absorption and 1 salvo absorption. So this pre-printed sector defense, I've got an absorption for that now. And we calculate for the first salvo. So they've got, Voidborn has 6 initiative, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then because I'm the attacker with the destroyer, I get 1 more total. So I have 7. So I attack first, and each destroyer also does 1 extra salvo damage. So I do my 1 damage plus 2, 3. So I do 3 damage in the first salvo, which takes out this whole fleet token, which we'll pause for a second, and I'll go back here because I abandoned that sector. No big deal. So I fired first. They fire back, and I absorb because of autonomous drones. Now I have the initiative again, so I fire first. The Voidborn fires back, but now I absorb because of shields, and I've got corvettes present. So again, I fire first. Voidborn fires back, and I lose this ship, and we'll just send it back to the home sector because of escape pods. And now I fire first this salvo, and they are defeated. But, we'll just leave this here for a second. So I've taken over this sector, and when you take over this sector, you unlock 1 advanced or 1 improved tech, and you immediately gain 1 tech. So I'm going to gain this improved tech, I believe. Yeah, that'll work. I've got a couple options, but that'll work just fine. So I take the improved autonomous drones, and I gain 1 trade token. So I'll put it right there. And for the trade token, I'll take 2 energy. And that was it. That was all 4 of these actions. So I'll put this trade token back. I guess I can tuck this in here. Doesn't particularly matter. And now I get to play another focus card. And I will play politics. And so I think I really just need 1 action here. And it's going to be this middle action to invade. So I'm going to spend 1 credit and 2 energy. I'm going to move this fleet power up into the rift. It looks like I'm horribly outnumbered, but I'm not. Well, I am, but it'll be okay. I'm going to spend this trade token to use autonomous drones again. And so as the invader, that gives me, in the improved version now, 1 approach absorption and 2 salvo absorption. So on the approach, again, nothing happens with that sector defense there. And so now we calculate initiative, and the Voidborn have 9, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 1 for the destroyers. So I have 6. So the Voidborn fire first. I absorb it with 1 of my 2 salvo absorption, and now I fire back, and because I have destroyers, I fire once, plus another, so 3. So this whole fleet token is destroyed. And while I've been thinking about it, I've now abandoned that sector, just to be technical. So that was the first salvo. Second salvo, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a bonus for the destroyers, versus 6. The initiative's tied, so we fire at the same time. I absorb with my second salvo absorption from autonomous drones, and the Voidborn take 1 hit. Now I have greater initiative. It's 6 to 5. I fire first. The Voidborn fire back, but I absorb it with shields. So again, I have greater initiative. I fire. The Voidborn fire back. So I'll just send this fleet here. And we'll go back and forth now. I've got the initiative. I fire. Voidborn fire back. Now I fire. They fire back. Now I fire. And they have no fleets left to fire back. So that was a lot of stuff that just got done. And I can even, even get the bonus for closing the rift. I could flip it over, remove a corruption. That was only 1 action on this card. So I did that in just 3 focus cards, which is pretty cool. So that's a super fun puzzle. I like that. And I like that there's so many different ways to approach it. With, being able to pick either Marqualos Origin and being able to pick any of the 4 fallen houses. And that impossible mode that I mentioned, the rules differences are when you gain a trade token or a bounty token, you gain nothing at all. No resources or reward of any kind. Plus you add 2 sector defenses to each of these sectors. So in addition to the pre-printed, so they each have 3 sector defense. And then like I did, the fallen house is random, which just means you can solve the puzzle again with any of the fallen houses. And in that setup and with that rules change, I suppose you can beat it in 4 focus cards, which is absolutely wild. And I haven't given that one a try yet. But this was a super fun puzzle. I really like the idea of these, and I hope there's more. In fact, I believe there is one more out there right now that uses House Nervo, and it's a little more economic focus, but I haven't tried that one yet, so maybe I'll do that. So let me know on this channel if that's something you want to see, more of these Voidfall puzzles if they come out. Check out the link back to Board Game Geek, and if you like it, leave some comments on that thread and let people know that you like it, and maybe that'll encourage more of these to be made, because I think they're super cool, and they're way quicker than playing a full game of Voidfall. As much as I like it, this is pretty fast. So that's what I've got this week. It's just something a little different. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're still here, please do subscribe, like, and share this video if you think you know somebody who'd enjoy it, and leave some comments. That's always my favorite part. I would love that. So that was a Voidfall puzzle, and I'm looking forward to playing more of them. Thank you so much for watching Table for One. I will see you next time.